just for anybody who might be on the moon and not really understand what we're talking about here, is that, and if we're not, the Jubilee Party, essentially today, if we want to call them factions that have been split, one faction has not been shy in their assertions. And they have said that you are being used as a tool of the state to then take away whatever remainder of Jubilee is left and have it join Kenya Kwanza. They were not shy about that.
I'll give you two scenarios.
Said that.
Yeah, I'll give you two scenarios. Because for Registrar, when you do or you don't do, your goose is always cooked. Because there must be a political divide. And I'll give you two scenarios. Currently, we made some decision, sometimes a month, some few months ago, and the ruling party took us to court. Yeah. And we are in court. Actually, we are still in court. If we are that biased, then we could have been making all decisions that are favoring the sitting government. But this particular time, we actually made a ruling that the ruling party was very dissatisfied. The only thing they never did, they never went through. So they decided we are going to take the registrar to court. And they were unhappy with the decision. Because according to us, we look at the procedures and rule, and we are still in court. We are in court with many other political parties on matters that we have made decisions on. Because decisions must continue to be made, and the people who are dissatisfied then move to the next dispute resolution processes. For sure, then, how can we be partisan? When we are talking, and I'll give you another example, when we are talking about coalitions and all that, we are very categorical who is in which coalition, and the people who move, and they actually have not moved legally. We say without shying, and sometimes it's not sitting very well with some sections of people in government. Sometimes it's not sitting well with people in opposition. Because when you every time you talk and make a decision, those decisions are based on law. We don't base a decision on political scenarios. We base it on law and what is before us and what has been filed. So that we maintain our independence. Sometimes the accusation come because of the political unfolding, but we are not interested in politics. Ours is whether the law has been followed at that particular time. You cannot rule when you don't have documentation that has been presented before you, that you read around politics and then you rule, because that we are apolitical. And that's why we say it is very important that Kenyans understand that public institutions have to make decisions, and those decisions have to favor one side or the other depending on what is presented in law. Sometimes it's this side, sometimes it's this other side. Indeed, as we are accused from right, left, and center, sometimes we are accused from the political divide. When we make a decision from this, the other time you're accused from this other political divide. Finally, they are lost. They say, now we don't have to, because we are using the law. We are not using propaganda. We are not using, just like you are saying, intimidation and threat. Because if we are intimidated and threatened, who will stand for the law?
One of the things that they took issue with was with the letter that you wrote on the 19th of May. And you wrote this to the Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Joshua Kutun. And you called the NEC meeting that was convened, you called it unlawful. They took issue with this directly.
Which one?
The letter that you wrote on the 19th of May that you delivered to Jubilee. And you called the NEC meeting that took place previously as unlawful. For and what you cited was lack of quorum in that letter. What was that about? Because they've taken particular issue with this. We've heard as well that one Mr. Kioni actually said that the letters that you sent were backdated in terms of, the dates that you put on the letter. Why would they go into that intricate detail of saying that you've gone ahead and done something like that if you have said on the other side that you followed the law explicitly?
Now, I would want to understand what is backdating. Because you can only talk of a backdating of a document if there was another document that was available that had another date. Then you cancelled that and backdated another. We have not given any other letter apart from that letter given on the 19th. Dated on the 19th, and which we sent on Monday. Because I know you received letters. When you receive a letter could be written on 5th, but you receive it on 10th.
Yes.
Because the sender of the letter has to process that letter through a registry, through a process so that the letter leaves your desk to go to where it is. But what matters is that a letter was dated a particular date. So I actually I'm lost when I hear about backdating, because we don't have another letter. Because what is the basis of that backdating? Because if sending the letter on Monday, when it is dated on Friday, that is what happens in all government institutions. Even yesterday, I received a letter from different government offices dated 5th, and I'm receiving them 2 weeks later. Yeah, as it was only a weekend in between, and we sent it on Monday. That letter, that's when they received it. Then what do you mean? And I want to understand what is this backdating, because there's no other document that we have released dated another date.
Madam Registrar, you are the registrar of political parties, which means of necessity you're going to be dealing with politicians.
And I agree. And I know, and they should know I love them.
Yes.
And I don't mind dealing with them every day. Yeah.
Will do what politicians do well.
Yes.
I want to understand something.